This video is brought to you by
Cool Grain Clothing. We done gone worldwide and we coming straight out of Baltimore. Come on down, shop with us at 215 West Saratoga Street. And if you can't come and shop with us in person, go online right now at coolgrainclothing.com and make your purchase. Oh yeah, and by the way, if you ain't cool and getting the green, you're in the way, and that's just basic.
What's going on, YouTube, fam? It's your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of the Baltimore Way, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. Definitely watch this video to the end so you can hear the full story and all the details in the case. For my day one fam, y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Oh yeah, feel free to share the channel with your peoples. Everybody is welcome. With that being said, let's get right into the story. Gangs and organizations. Depending on what part of the world you come from, I'm sure we have all heard of certain gangs like the Bloods, Crips, GDs, BDs. You might even know the people who are active members, affiliated, or you yourself have been approached to come home. In my city of Baltimore, Maryland, it's always been one organization that before the California gang members came to the city and gave the green light for the Crips and Bloods to start their fraction, it was BGF, or the Black Guerrilla Family, also founded in California in 1966. It was supposed to be a brotherhood, really started to empower black people. But of course, like most gangs over the years, the mission has took another turn. If you go back years, I'm talking about 1999, 2000, in Baltimore, BGF held supreme. They ran most blocks, and when it came to Maryland jails and prisons, it was all them. In the streets, you had homegrown gangs like Purple City and Highland Town, or OTM, out that mob over west and other areas. But nobody really gave the BGF a run for their money until the Bloods and Crips hit the city hard. And for reasons I don't understand myself, the BGF and Bloods always been at war. I remember 2006 being at BCCC on 901 Greenmount Avenue, and every other day on the yard, a Blood or BGF member were putting hands on each other or knives was coming out, even over the pen. To add fuel to the fire, it was so deep, if something happened over there, we would get locked down at B Triple so the gangs wouldn't go at each other. But those prison politics often spill off into the streets. And for the members and leaders of the organizations, it usually doesn't stop until multiple bodies are in the ground, life sentences are handed out, or the feds smack the city and clean house. And on this episode of the Baltimore Way, we'll be discussing how a gang war between the Bloods and BGF made the streets of Baltimore City hot. Let's rewind back to 2010 in East Baltimore. The homegrown organization Safe Streets, which was started for OGs from the streets or the ones who have done a lot of time in prison that have respect in their neighborhoods to help stop beefs from going to gun violence. The good brothers would intervene and try to keep peace in the city. One of their offices and headquarters was off of Monument Street in East Baltimore. One of their program leaders was a man named Ricky Evans, or nicknamed Dorsey, who had a lot of respect in the streets. But over the years, it was always whispers from law-abiding citizens that the Safe Streets location was nothing more than a cover-up for gang activity, a stash house for guns and narcotics, and a meeting location for BGF, as Ricky was a high-ranking member who called shots. It was also alleged the organization would send members to set up shop on blocks all through the city, either by force or choice, to further fund the organization and what they had going on. But it was also other organizations on some of these blocks, including the Bloods, who refused to just lay down and let their money be played with. This caused friction and wars all through the city and in the jails. And Ricky and his man, Bucky or Sean Thomas, also BGF and a high-ranking leader, wanted compliance. And the two men knew just how to get it, by extortion, robbery, and putting the murder game down. If people didn't fall in line, Let's go back to 2010 when BGF members attempted to rob and extort a man named Markel Walton. They tried to kidnap him, but he ran, leading to shots going off, and his body being found in the Northwest Baltimore alley. When BPD got hot on the case, it was word going around that a BGF member named Darrell was cooperating. So later that year, he was hit by his own organization. Now with word of hit for hire, extortion, and legit businesses used for a front and gang activity, that was a perfect storm for the feds, who was already in the city, to double back and look into Ricky, Sean, and the Safe Streets location. They also had their eyes on another part of East Baltimore, the 2700 block of Greenmount Avenue, in which it was pointed to as a BGF stronghold, with heavy narcotic flow and high-ranking members controlling the area. But years will go by as the feds, like they do, sat back and waited for more to happen, to keep building on to their case. Eyes were now on the Safe Street location, also Ricky and Sean. A few more years would pass, but the war in the city between the Bloods and BGF was still going on and at an all-time high. In December 2016, a Blood member, 32-year-old Keith Ramsay, was at odds with the BGF organization and wasn't backing down. Keith, also a high-ranking member for the Bloods, felt like it could go however they wanted it to go, but he was standing on business and still would hustle in the Greenmount area of the city. But this decision didn't sit right with the big dogs like Ricky and Sean, and the hit was put out on Keith. On December 9th, 2016, right off of Greenmount on East Lorraine Avenue, shots were fired. When police responded to the scene, a man was found suffering from multiple gunshot wounds, and he wouldn't survive his injuries. He was later, unfortunately, identified as Keith Ramsay. A few weeks later, a known BGF member named Darrell Banks was picked up for the case. As witnesses claimed, he was the alleged trigger man, but the feds got information from informants. It was an ordered hit sent down from Sean to get Keith out the way. As more investigation went on, in 2018, after watching Ricky and Sean for 8 years, the feds swooped in, charging both men with racketeering, conspiracy, gang charges, drugs, hit for hire, and multiple other offenses. They alleged Ricky organized the Monument Street Safe Streets location as a stash house for the BGF, also a meeting location to discuss business and for members to come pay gang dues. As the case made its way to a federal courthouse, both Ricky and Sean admitted to their roles in the organization and pled guilty on all charges. They both faced life sentences, but Sean was sentenced to 35 years in prison. I couldn't find any information on how much time Ricky got, but either way, rest in peace to Keith, Markel, Darrell, and anybody else who lost their lives in the gang war. I remember being locked up with dudes from all over Maryland, and they either wanted to join BGF or did it out of fear and protection, or either the Bloods or Crips as well. And all I used to think to myself is grown men volunteering themselves to be crash dummies. Because when you are a pup trying to work your way up the ranks and the phone ring and the gang tell you go on a mission, do a hit, or go take this duffel bag somewhere, you can't say no, or you will definitely be next up on the plate and be fooled yourself. I never judged because I understand the allure of wanting to belong and fit in, but at what cost? There's so many people I know in prison or in the ground behind repping these organizations, and I wonder if they could do it all over again, would they still be Blood, Crip, or BGF? But once that casket closes or that cell door slams, then it's too late. But hey, that's the Baltimore way. Yeah, man, I ain't gonna talk too much more about this one. Y'all leave it in the comments. I appreciate you if you made it to the end. Y'all already know it's all love, fam. It's your boy Tony 2 times. It's another episode of the Baltimore Way. I'm out. Yo, what's the word, fam? We got a deal for you so you can get your fashion right this summer to get 10% off your purchase at Cool Green Clothing. All you got to do is click the link in the comments. I'm going to pin it right there for you. Add your items for purchase in the cart. Before you complete your order, type in code 2x10TV to get 10% off your purchase. Again, be sure to tap that link because without that, you can't get your discount. And that's code 2TIMESTV10. We appreciate your love and support.